welcome back to my video. Make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe down below. This video is going to be my demo lesson part 2. If you did not see my demo lesson part 1, now is the time to pause this video, go back and go watch my demo lesson part 1, and then come back to this video. So I'm going to leave on my last tip where I left off. Now you're going to take your lesson plan off that page. You're going to execute that lesson the best way that you can and go from there. So with this demo lesson part 2, I'm going to give you guys some insight into my lesson. For spring break, my goal was to finish my demo lesson, finish it. And yeah, I'm finally finished and I wanted to share it with you guys. So for my demo lesson, of course, I'm going to stick to my strength. My strength is reading. I love reading. I love teaching the strategies of it. So I'm going to do reading strategies. If you guys do not have this book from Jennifer, this book is like a lifesaver. It's really a lifesaver. Like the anchor chart is already in there. You have the strategy you want to teach, the levels that your kids is on. Like it's just beyond perfect. So I'm going to do 5.4, the pew. So the strategy is that students have to be able to retell the story. They have to tell me how it gets worse and then what was the end resolution in the story. I love how Jennifer, like I said, she has the anchor chart. So I'm already going to pull this anchor chart out and I'm going to use that as my anchor chart. It lets me know the levels that it's for students who are reading at levels F and L. The genre is fiction. It tells me the skill, which is working on determining importance and retelling. Now, when it comes to the reading levels F and L, I feel like with this, with that kind of strategy, you can differentiate it a lot because there's you can do this even with kindergarten and first grade, where you can just have one book and you can just break it down and just say what that big problem was from the story, and you can break it down over time, where you get different books that have a lot of problems and be able to see the resolution at the end of the story. So I feel like when it comes to that strategy, you can use it for different grade levels depending on how you do your lesson. So with my lesson, it's more so geared to second grade first, but it doesn't really matter because, like I said, I can always differentiate it for any grade level. It doesn't really matter. Also, on top of that, I like how they have the language. So if kids are able to use at the bottom the first, the next, the suddenly, and finally, they're able to use that language to talk with you on the rug. So I like that. 2 books that I do plan on using is A Bad Case of Stripes. I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place because I know that there's so many books out there, but it's so hard to choose from. I really like this book because one of my professors gave this for me when I finished my ETIPA. She's really into children's literature, and this is like a great book, very interactive. It's funny, has a lot of humor, and the pictures, it's very good illustrations, and I just feel like this is a good book to get kids really into it and focused as you're reading the read aloud. Another book that I'm thinking of is Caps for Sale. Is also another book. I did see somebody read that book, but I do want to have my own copy. So yeah, I'm in between these 2 books. So another thing is for my interview, when I do my demo lesson, I am going in. I really want to do special ed. If some of you guys may not know, I do have a dual certification in both general education and special ed with learning disabilities and behaviors. So my whole thing is for September for the upcoming school year 2018-2019. I do want to interview for a special education position. Yeah. So my lesson is, it's still is going to be general ed populated, but I am going to try to show like how I differentiate it for those special education students as much as I can. So like I said, I'm going to have my anchor chart where I'm just going to pull out the story mountain chart that I showed you guys, where it has the plot. It gives the definition of the plot. It shows the beginning, the middle, and the end, how it gets worse. And my whole thing is that I'm going to have kids like talking on the rug like, oh my God, we're at a problem. who can tell me what happened once I've read it. We're going to go back and see. I'm going to look and see to see which kids got that problem. And they're going to tell me what was the problem. How do you know? So I'm going to challenge them by asking them, how do you know that was the problem? What told you that in the text? And then I'm already going to have answers already written on the post-it. And I'm going to have students come up to the anchor chart and place it in the correct spot that it goes. So if it happened in the beginning, we're going to say, Tom did this. This was the first problem. Put it there. So I'm already prepared to know what students are going to say, and I'm automatically going to put it here. So I'm going to challenge those students. So this goes back to saying that you want to kind of expect what students are going to automatically already say, so you're going to already have it written. So you just put it here. And if you want them to go, higher level thinking, you want to challenge them to be able to see, well, how did you know that really happened? I'm going to challenge them to see, how do you remember back in the text what I said? And they're going to give me that evidence, give me details. So I'm going to have like kids frequently do that. We're going to stop and jot throughout the story. And I'm going to have kids interactively come up and place it in the correct spot on that anchor chart that I showed you guys. And I'm going to call on, kids that normally don't participate, or if I see a kid that's kind of talking to somebody else, I want to give them that opportunity to kind of involve them and get them to participate, so they're not really focusing on talking to somebody else, but they're being interactive into the lesson as well. When it comes to the special education side, for my ELL learners, and not only for my ELL learners, but the whole class as well, I plan on doing a vocabulary. So I'm going to go back into the books, see if there's any terms that the kids might not understand or they don't know what it is. I'm going to have a visual picture, and I'm going to have the definition at the bottom, which I'm going to show them the picture and read the definition aloud. And as I'm reading, I'm going to have kids either give me a thumbs up every time they hear the vocabulary words that I have on the book, that I have on the board. So this is another way how you're getting those kids to be interactive, not only the ELL, but all kids, everybody's involved, and every time they hear the word, they give a thumbs up. So it's kind of like fun, interactive, like, woo. You might have some kids that, you might have one kid, like maybe a student who, they need something to do. They can't really sit on the rug, or they're very fidgety. You can give one kid the job on the side before you even start that lesson, and just say, hey, can you tally how many times we said this word? Can you tally how many times we said X, Y, and Z? And then in the end, you can have that student possibly share, how many times did we hear that word pop up? It can even be the character's name. How many times did her name pop up in the story? You can do that also as well. So I plan on showing that kind of side of like the special ed, and you already have the visual. You kind of have the kinesthetic if you do have, a kid who, wants to do tallies. You're kind of touching all of that. You're touching the auditory. I'm already touching the auditory in my lesson, and the verbal component of it. Like I said, I'm following my strength. My strength is reading. So I do plan on doing that for my lesson. Like I said, if you don't have this book from Jennifer, you need to get it. She also has a writing one. She has a guided reading one that I'm definitely going to get. And yeah, I hope you guys like this video. I also want you guys to be very interactive in my comment. If you are, a new teacher and you're just getting started out with your demo lesson, or you don't know what to do and you need some possible ideas, leave them down below. Like, I can give you some possible ideas. If you are a teacher and you remember what it was like when you was doing your first teaching job and going out to find, what was your demo lesson? What did you do? What was your feedback? If you're in the process of planning your demo lesson, what is the challenge that you're having with your lesson plan? Like, what are some of those problems that you're having? If you have questions about, well, I'm not really a special education teacher, but I might have, a few kids in my IEP. What are some other ways that you try to reach those students, or vice versa? Leave some of your tips down below, some advice. Like I said, share some of that. I want to know, if you're doing a lesson, what is your lesson that you're doing? Leave any questions so you guys can help not only me, but other people Give me some feedback on my lesson. What do you guys think about my lesson? If you guys know any other read aloud books that would be great for my lesson, retelling and problems and how it was resolved. If you guys have any other suggestions, because I'm looking not only for one book, but at least 2 more books. I at least want to go in with like three books. So yeah, if you guys have any other read alouds that you guys know that would be good, please leave them down below and share. I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you like, you comment, and you subscribe to this video down below, and look out for my next video, guys. Bye, guys.